A better route. Chapter 111. Rin wasn't sure if she had ever been so happy to see her son and her husband in her entire life. Just to know that the two of them hadn't gotten hurt during their fight with Tuhia took a huge weight off her shoulders. They ended up spending the next 2 days trying to sort out everything that had happened and deciding what to do from here. Most of the council had been excited at the mere thought that the Akatsuki might be finished once and for all. Choza was giving a hearty laugh. "You actually did it, you crazy bastard. You've managed to kill the leader of the Akatsuki." Obito gave a little smile. "I had a lot of help with it, but yes, I suppose I did. Although, it's not certain she's dead." Tsum was grinning. "There's no way they can bounce back from this. We've got by the short hairs." Obito wasn't so sure. "You may think me insane, but I really think the worst is yet to come." Shikaku had known Obito for a long time and the boy had good instincts. "What makes you say that?" Obito sighed. "It's just this nagging feeling I've got. Like there's some dark force looming over us. I don't know, maybe I'm just crazy." Asuma just shrugged it off. "I think you're being a little paranoid." Obito's thoughts went to his son and the two he considered to be his niece and nephew. "I feel like Naruto, Kakashi, and Mito are going to be the ones to end all this. While I do think I'll be involved, it's going to be them who really put a stop this nightmare." Tsunade had never heard Obito talk so cryptically before. "Wow, Obito, you're starting to sound like the old man did." Obito let out a small laugh. "Perhaps I am. Now, to the matter of Kisame and Teneki. They've both committed plenty of crimes over the years against several different villages including the Hidden Leaf. Technically we have the right to execute them if we wish since they've done their fair share of crimes against us. However, Mito, Fu, Kiba and Shino promised them that in exchange for coming peacefully and not trying to escape we wouldn't hurt either one of them. That means that killing them ourselves would be breaking our word." Tsunade suggested. "Why not just send them back to their villages? It only seems fair that they get to be the ones to decide their fates." Obito mulled the possibility over. "I suppose that's one option. Still though, I'm not sure whether or not that would be the best choice. There's going to be a lot of villages, both big and small, who'll claim the right to kill them. Having to deal with all of them is going to take ages." Shikaku suggested. "What if you took them with you to the 5 Kage summit?" Obito felt like an idiot asking this. "I'm sorry, but what 5 Kage summit?" Tsunade couldn't believe no one had told him yet. "Oh, for the love of God, no one told our Hokage about the 5 Kage summit?" Rin really hadn't been thinking about it all that much. "Sweetie, the Raikage and Mizukage wanted to meet with you and Gaara, and I'm not really how but the Tsuchikage got involved too. Apparently it ended up being decided that all 5 of you would meet at once. It's in 2 months." Obito actually thought that sounded like a good idea. "I suppose it would be nice to finally sit down with everyone and figure out where we all stand. All right then, we'll bring Kisame and Teneki there and let the decision be made by myself and my fellow Kages. So what's the next order of business?" Shiho, a research at the village, stood up. "Well, that would be me, sir. You see, we've discovered some interesting about Yugo while doing some research on Orochimaru's seals." Obito nodded. "Please continue." The girl was clearly very nervous. "Well, you see, it turns out the Yugo himself doesn't have a seal per se. In fact, it appears his bloodline was used to create Orochimaru's final version of the Cursed Seal of Heaven. Mainly his blood itself, that is. Apparently Orochimaru was obsessed with his clan's ability to absorb nature chakra, which only 10% of people can do. He used his blood on the curse marks too." Obito had to cut in. "Shiho, none of yous know what any of this means. While I appreciate all the effort you and your team have put into this, we really aren't the kind of people you want to be trying to explain it to. Just save the techie stuff for the other scientists, please." Shiho could see she went overboard. "Oh, of course. Sorry about that, Lord Hokage. Obito didn't think C really needed to apologize. It's alright, just gives us the important part. Shiho tried to explain, we think we may be able to use his blood to actually remove some of the seals, but it'll take at least a year or two to do it properly and there aren't many people left with the seal to still test on. However, that's not the disturbing thing we found. Obito could see he was about to get some bad news. Don't beat around the bush. Just give it to us straight. Shiho pushed her glasses back up on her nose. The thing is, all of the remaining seals contain at least a small portion of Orochimaru's chakra. We were only able to test one of the original seals, that one being Anko's, and found that it even contained some of Orochimaru's conscious. Anko nearly tore down the entire building when she found that out. Obito could understand why, so what does this mean? Shiho didn't actually know. To be honest, we have no idea. We just felt it would be best to tell you since it's a little concerning. Obito found it concerning. All right, please work as fast as you can to remove that seal. I don't like the idea of any part or piece of Orochimaru being in the hidden leaf. Shiho bowed to him. Of course, sir. Obito looked over the agenda. Looks like we've got one last thing to cover. Hisashi, I believe you were the person who wanted to bring something up. Hayashi stood up and started to speak. As you know, Hinata, along with the rest of the Rookie 12, are now Jonin. Obito had almost forgotten about that. The Jonin exams had been just before the big fights had gone down and the last of the Rookie 12 who were still Chunin had been promoted. He was relatively certain he knew where Hisashi was going with this. I think I get the idea. Hayashi began to smile in pride. Yes, the time has come for me to set into motion my stepping down as clan head and Hinata taking my place. One of the Hyuga elders behind him muttered, typically you have to be an elite Jonin before you become a clan head. Hayashi shot him a glare. It's at least a 2-year process and she's practically an elite Jonin as it is. She'll be ready when the time comes. Obito nodded, agreed. I'll have the paperwork sent to you before the day is out. Good meeting everyone. Please enjoy yourselves until we see each other again. Tsum had one thing to do before she left. Tsunade, could I speak to you for a second? Tsunade smirked at Tsum. This is about the mark I saw on Mito's shoulder the other day, isn't it? Tsum laughed nervously. So you noticed that, huh? Tsunade wasn't angry. Don't worry, Tsum, I happen to like Kiba quite a bit. So how far do you think I am from getting a son-in-law? Tsum was relieved to see she was fine with all this. Not long at all. I'm probably going to be getting a new son-in-law myself thanks to Itachi. Tsunade giggled. They grow up very fast, don't they? Tsum hated to say it. It was very sad to think about her kids growing up so soon. Yeah, they really do. Madara had been shocked to find out that he'd been dead for close to 20 years. He kept mumbling to himself, 20 years? But it felt like so much longer. Zetsu had to ask, Sir, what is the afterlife like? Madara did his best to hide his fearful reaction. Let me simply say that for people like me it isn't the kind of place you'd want to return to. It felt a lot longer than 20 years, I'll tell you that much. Zetsu didn't think he wanted to know anything else. Well, that's rather unsettling. Madara really didn't want to talk about this anymore. He changed the subject. So how many tailed beasts are there left to acquire? Zetsu a little nervously, 3, sir. Madara scowled, 3. You've had 20 fucking years. What, were you just sitting around with your thumbs up your asses? 1 I could believe, 2 I might have been okay with, but 3. Honestly, that's pathetic. Zetsu gulped. It wasn't entirely our fault, Lord Madara. We ran into a lot of bad luck. Madara's killer intent was getting bad. Only the weak are affected by bad luck. Zetsu explained as quickly as he could. 4 of the Jinchurikis gained complete control over their tailed beasts. We were lucky when we took out the one tail, but the last three are all extremely powerful and have incredibly strong friends as well. Our enemies have gotten very powerful. Some have even said that Obito may have surpassed you. That's when Madara's killer intent nearly flattened Zetsu. If they think he surpassed me, then they've clearly forgotten how powerful I really am. What makes this whelp so strong in their eyes anyways? Zetsu wasn't sure how he'd react to this. Well, he's kind of gained a power of the Mangekyo Sharingan that even you were never able to. Madara stopped dead in his tracks. That's not possible. Zetsu quickly told him, it seems like it was just a mutation that only his genes had though. You may not even be able to use it. Madara wanted to face this Uchiha. I'm going to have to fight him myself before long then. However, we need to get those last three-tailed beasts as well. Who do we have in organization? Zetsu gave him even more bad news. No one. They're all either gone or dead. Madara ground his teeth. Well, that's a problem, isn't it? If I connect you to the statue, then you can make yourself an army, but I need more than just that. Zetsu sighed. Too bad Orochimaru isn't here. He mastered Tobirama's reanimation technique. We could have an army of incredibly powerful undead ninjas at our beck and call. Madara mulled it over in his head. Do we have any of his research left? Zetsu didn't see where he was going with this. Yeah, I went and gathered some things that Tuhiya felt would be of use after his death. Why? Madara gave him a dark smile, because perhaps we can have that army of the undead after all. That is all for this video. See you in the next one.